Hey y'all, here's what's going on. I feel a little crummy today. I'm like not at my best. And I decided that to make myself feel better, I'm going to put on the makeup look I want to wear today, which is like not too intense. I'm kind of thinking like glowy, relatively refined, but with a little bit of a presence of makeup, like maybe a bit of a strong lip. And I'm going to use my absolutely fanciest makeup. So like the most designer makeup. I'm going to try to use as much super high-end makeup as I can. I don't have enough of that kind of makeup to do an entire full face, like soup to nuts, but I'm going to use it wherever I can. If you're new to my channel, then welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I'm Hannah. I love beautiful things. This is a beauty channel. I review makeup from time to time. I like to put makeup on camera, but I like to use what I have more than I review brand new stuff. So this video is kind of emblematic of that. And if that sounds good to you and you're not subscribed, I hope you'll go ahead and subscribe. Now let's go ahead and get into the meat of the video. I don't have anything on my face right now except for sunscreen because some of my high-end products are priming products. So I wanted to start from a bare face so that I can put these on camera. So I have one piece of Chanel makeup in my life. It's the Chanel Le Beige Fluid Illuminator. I'm gonna start by putting this all over my face. I mean, I said priming products, but both of these are actually just illuminating products. I mean, I think they're designed to be used on the whole face if you want to, but they're not actually primers. I've just been priming with these like fluid illuminators for months now. It's been my jam for months. And you can see why. I did, by the way, put some soap in my brows before I started. It was the only thing that I did. I just use a bar of glycerin soap for my brows. It's all that I ever use, so it didn't make sense to look for something high-end. Okay, I'm gonna go in with another fluid illuminator. This is the Auric Glow Lust Radiant Luminizer. And this, it's in the shade Morganite. It's a bit dark and peachy for me, so instead of putting it all over my face, I'm just gonna put it on my cheeks because I know that my cheeks will be able to handle that like slightly darker color. And when I say I'm gonna put something like this on my cheeks, really when I say that I'm gonna put anything on my cheeks, what I mean is that I'm gonna put it from temple to temple, all the way across the bridge of my nose, like in a band, gloss all across. Okay, that's what I call some fancy priming. But now I'm going to have to depart from the super high-end products just to put a little coverage on my face because I use the same stuff all the time. I use a green color corrector from the Sephora collection. I use a Makeup Forever concealer and this Erin's Faces concealer that I really like. I use a NARS spot concealer. Some of these are pretty pricey products, high-end products, but it's not really the like super fanciest of the fanciest makeup that I'm really spotlighting in this video. So I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward that. I'll show you the footage, but it'll be fast and I'll link the stuff that I use in the description box down below, but I'm not gonna talk through the next steps. I said that I wasn't going to talk that through, but I feel like what I ended up doing is kind of interesting, so I'm just going to cover it quickly. I mixed the green color corrector on my hand with the Erin's Faces concealer, which is a really creamy, full coverage consistency, but it's a bit dark for me, and the Makeup Forever, which is a really lightweight, super thin, fluid consistency, very skin-like, and it's a bit light for me. And I ended up with a paste that I hope you could see on the back of my hand looked really green, looked like a really pale green, very green, pale color. And even when I went to put it on my face, it looked really green. It looked like this greenish gray stuff. But as I blended it in and I blended it with a brush, because it was the three things mixed together, I really blended it into my skin and pushed it into my skin instead of like trying to conceal with it, I was just trying to change the basic underlying color of my skin from red to more the actual color of the rest of my skin. So it's just interesting to see how a mixture that looks so incredibly green and gray can actually be the perfect thing, especially when it's made out of concealers that are very skin-like and creamy and, you know, don't sit on top of the skin but become one with the skin. It can be the perfect thing to just start over from a baseline that's much less flushed and blotched looking than what I was actually starting with. I'm actually very pleased with this base. This is like my favorite base that I've gotten in a long time. I have been doing this thing where I mix these two concealers, the Aaron's Faces and the Makeup Forever, or the Aaron's Faces and my Sephora Sephora Best Skin Ever foundation with the green color corrector to make like a greenish gray paste that has a consistency that I really like, and then blending that into my skin. I've actually been doing that for several days now. That's been like what I'm into, but I haven't yet done it over such an intensely glowy base. And I think one of the good things about having like a paste, like a color correcting skin tone evening paste like that and buffing it into the skin, is that it allows it to blend with whatever you've primed with. So if you want to mattify your skin and you've primed with something mattifying, you're going to end up with a really matte version of color corrected skin. And if you use really glowy base products like I did, you end up with a really glowy version of it because it kind of blends together and it like becomes the same thing. You know what I mean? It becomes one. I think that for me, it did blend with the Chanel product like all around here. And I really like kind of the tone of my skin right here on my chin. But here on the gloss all across spot, it blended with the Auric product, which is a little bit blurring and a little bit pore filling, even though it's so glowy. So I actually ended up feeling like I didn't have to do all that much in this area underneath, just like a tiny bit of brightening. And it ended up looking very seamless and glowy and having nice color there too. But close up, it looks shockingly like my skin. Like it looks, you can tell that I've covered some blemishes, but it looks like I'm wearing way, way less makeup than I actually am, I think. And it really doesn't look like I've done all that much. And that's what I'm always going for with base. So I feel like that was a rip-roaring success, even though we haven't really gotten into the fanciest products yet, except for the Chanel and the Auric. But, you know, to be fair, they were definitely key players in how this ended up looking. So here's what I want to do next. I really want to wear one of my high-end lip products today, but I know that if I start with eyes and then go to cheeks, or even if I start with cheeks, I'll end up putting on more makeup than I would want to wear with an expressive lip, and then I'll end up downplaying the lip. So I'm going to go ahead and put on my lip product. I have two options. I have the Gucci Lip Voile in Goldie Red, and this is the YSL Slim Glow Matte. The Slim Glow Matte is in the shade 214, and I actually think this is what I want to wear. My lips are feeling a little dry, and this is a matte lip, so I'm going to put it on, and if it feels like it didn't give me enough moisture, I'll layer a little bit of the Gucci on top. Okay, here's how I'm feeling. I overlined a little bit. I blurred the edges a little bit. I applied it in kind of like a stainy way. And I am so smitten with the whole situation right now. There's something about no eye makeup and sort of a glowy, even, but washed out face and a really strong lip like this that is a very special look. And I mean, it's not that I didn't know that before, but it's the first time I've applied anything like this since I got my hair cut. So I just feel like a different version of something that I've enjoyed in the past. And it's so fun to see. So I'm kind of like living for this. I'm feeling myself. I'm not going to stop here, but part of me is like, this is it. Like, this is the whole look. And I think that what I'll do is I'll try to honor that with the way that I apply the rest of it. So I'm going to go on to cheeks, but I'm going to try not to do too much. I'm going to try to maybe give a little bit of shape to my face with the cheeks make it look a little bit less. Because I also think once I put on some cheek makeup, my face won't look so like brightly white and almost like greenish white. So I'm just gonna do that. And then I'm gonna move on to the eyes, but in both cases, I'm gonna kind of try to keep it minimal and let this be the basic effect of the look. I'm gonna put a powder product on my cheeks. It's either gonna be the Dior Backstage Glow face palette or this Lancome Blush Subtil. It's actually probably gonna be a combination. I'll probably put both of them on. Before I do that, I'm gonna powder my face a little bit just to make sure that the base is set and not gonna budge. And I'm going to use this Givenchy Prism Libre powder in the shade Mousseline. Here's the Dior palette. Simbri gave this to me for my birthday. And it's pretty gold toned. The shift is pretty gold. The undertone is pretty gold. So in the interest of trying to retain this icily glowy minimal look, I think I'm just going to use this one, which is this one in the upper right-hand corner. It's the sort of most neutral in terms of the reflect. It's this one. And Miel Glacé, the Lancome Blush Subtil, it does have some glow of its own. So I'm gonna go back and forth between those two powders, kind of blending them together, blending them on my cheeks. And I think I'm gonna take a little bit of it on my eyes as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and prime my eyes before I do that. But I'm gonna go ahead and say this out loud to try to reinforce it for myself. I really don't want this to be a strong blush look. I really want to kind of retain this sense of a bare face and have it just be pretty subtle. So I'm going to tap off my brush, not use too much product, and I'm going to really buff it into my skin as I go. So that's just with the Dior. And now I'm gonna go in with Miel Glacé on top of it. I am unaccustomed to this light blush look. I'm like, light blush look, I don't know her. But I think part of why it's working is that I'm kind of keeping it high, like up under my eyes almost a little bit, rather than like, I tend when I do the blush draping to like bring it down. I'm just like keeping it up high. And that's it, we're just gonna stick with that. But I'm gonna put some of this blush in the crease of my eye. I really love that. And if I weren't filming this YouTube video, I would just stop there. I mean, I would put mascara on a little bit, but I wouldn't do like more on my eyes. Because I'm doing this video and I'm like trying to use all of my fancy makeup, I'm going to use at least one more fancy thing on my eyes because I haven't used any fancy eyeshadow. I haven't showcased any fancy eyeshadow. So, you know, I'll do it for the tube. But this to me is the look. Like this is what I was imagining when I said that I wanted to really center the lip and just do like something light and glowy and minimal on the rest of the face. So options for eyes are Natasha Denona. I brought the Lila palette over because I really liked that pink look that I did the other day with the Kaja bento box. And I sort of had it in my mind to recreate that. And, you know, these are the only like truly high-end shadows that I have that are in those tones. But now that I've done this with the lip, I know that I'm not going to go for a pink eye. So actually it probably won't be Natasha. I also brought over my Tom Ford cream and powder eye color in the shade Naked Bronze and the Auric Glow Lust in Ego. And I brought over Victoria Beckham Onyx, which is, I mean, the Victoria Beckham and the Tom Ford are like the two really fancy pieces of eye makeup that I have. I probably would have gone in and done like a really intense smoky eye look with the two of these if I'd started with my eyes. And so I'm really glad that I didn't do that because that would have been a lot for today for me to pair that with, or to pair this lip with that. Because I have done what I've done, I actually don't think I'm gonna use Onyx today. You know what? I'll start with the Tom Ford, maybe I'll just use the shiny part. It's one of my favorite things to use. And then I can kind of retain what I have going on here, but I can at least say that I used an actual fancy, actual eyeshadow as part of this look. I'm gonna just start with that. If it's too disappointing, if it's too much of just a little will-o'-the-wisp, the addition of this, then maybe I'll do something else. But let's start with that. And I'm actually gonna go in, I've been using this same brush the whole time. It's the Anastasia Beverly Hills A23. It's like a highlighting brush, but I love it for blush. I love it for cream blush. I love it for taking what's on my cheeks onto my eyes, and I like it for sweeping stuff all over my eyes. This is the one brush that's not a Rephr brush that I reach for constantly. And I've had it since before I started my YouTube channel, so it's getting actually a little bit ratty. That said, sweeping this powdered glittery product onto my lids with this fluffy brush didn't give me the super intense shine that I usually get with this. I usually use my fingers with this, and it really dispersed it, and it ended up a little bit sparkly, but it's definitely not glossy. So I'm going in with my fingers to add like that gloss to the center of the lid. It's fun too because I usually put this product on my brow bone and like all around the edge, so it's fun to put it on the center of the lid. That's it, I'm gonna stop, or I'm gonna put mascara on. And I don't actually really have a high-end mascara in the works right now, or do I? No, I don't have anything truly fancy. I mean, I have like a Benefit Roller Lash that I'm finishing up, but I don't have like a really designer mascara right now. So I'm just gonna use what I've been using, which is the Rimmel Lash Accelerator. Drugstore mascara with designer makeup. It's a pretty basic mascara, but it is working for me. I can get it to build, but I have to let it dry between coats. That has been the secret to getting this to like give me some of that. It's like a wispy version of the drama that I love. And to make sure that I kept the eye look fresh, I only put mascara on my top lashes. I have really long lower lashes, so there's no way to put mascara on those lower lashes. Well, sometimes there's a way. If I put it on, but then I kind of like pinch it off of the ends, so only the part of my lower lashes that's closest to the lash line has product on it, then I can get like a little bit less of a dramatic look. But it's hard for me to get anything but kind of a dramatic look if I put mascara on both my top and bottom lashes. And I wanted to keep this kind of like light, fresh glossiness. So I just put it on the top lashes, and there we have it. TBH, one of my favorite looks that I've had on my face in a long time. I feel better than I did when I started filming. And I really feel better than I expected to, like in makeup today. I feel like this really suits the vibe. The pivotal moment was the moment that I decided to put the lipstick on before I did the rest of my face and to tailor the rest of my face to my lipstick. It makes me want to do that like every day for the next 2 weeks because I love lip products. I feel like lip products is like some of my favorite makeup, if not my actual favorite makeup. And my lip collection, it's kind of like bigger than the rest of my collections. I guess cheek makeup, I really love cheek makeup too. But I just feel like my lip collection is the area in which the breadth of the collection is the least proportional with like how often I wear that kind of product. You know what I mean? I have a lot of cheek products, but I wear a lot of cheek products. And I have a lot of lip products and lipsticks, but I tend to just like cop out at the last minute and not wear lipstick a lot of the time. So maybe I'll make a project out of it. I'll let you know in a couple of weeks if I have done that. This was much more inspiring than I expected it to be. I thought I was just gonna be cheering myself up by putting on fancy makeup, but in fact, I've cheered myself up by putting on this exact makeup look. I hope that it was as enjoyable for you to watch as it was for me to do, and possibly even enlightening in some way. Let me know if you did enjoy it. And you know what I'm gonna say. Don't forget to take extra good care of yourself today so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.